Assalamualaikum. My name is NOOR binti ROSSAMRI and my number matrix is 2023168611.
Hello, my name is Syazwani binti ZANI. My matrix number is 2023125769.
Hi, my name is JAZLIN binti DANIAL ROSELAN and my student number is 2023104709.
My name is NAJWA binti KAMAL with matrix number 2023395923. Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group 4 MSc 22003C and this is our video assignment for ODL assignment.
Introduction of budgeting. A budget is a quantitative expression of a plan of action prepared in advance of a period to which it relates. It will be prepared before the period start and will be approved by the top management. It concerns with the process of preparing budgets, implementing the approved budgets and controlling process of budgeting. Next, there are 6 purposes of budgeting. Firstly is planning and formulation of policy. Budgetary control system requires the formulation of policy, the definition of objectives and the result that should be achieved. Secondly, communication and coordination. The preparation of budget requires people in the organization to communicate in the form of manager providing guideline or policy for budget preparation. Thirdly is motivation. It is reasonable to expect that individuals will perform according to what the organization desires if they know in advance what they are expected to do. Fourth, authorization. The budget can serve as an authorization to managers on activities that should take place in the firm, on how much can be spent on resources and on what levels of operation that the firm should operate. Fifth, control. By having a budget set on how much material should be bought, managers can rely on the budget so as not to go beyond the budgeted. And lastly is evaluation. Budgets indicates whether or not the actual result differs from the budgeted result, that the extent of the differences and why the results are different.
Key budget factor. The organization's actions are constrained by the organization's key budget component. Early detection of this aspect is crucial for budgetary planning as it helps determine which budget has to be created initially. This main budget refers to limiting factors. The budgeting process. Step number 1. Planning process. Decide who will oversee the budgeting process and which committees, employees and board members must be actively involved. Step number 2. Communicating about the process. Make sure that everyone involved is aware of their roles, expectations and due dates. Step number 3. Programmatic goal setting. Determine program goals and objectives. Step number 4. Information gathering. Using program assumptions and goals as a guide, research and obtain review and expense data. Step number 5. Compilation and revision. One person should gather all the data, check it for correctness and then distribute it to everyone concerned. Step number 6. Committee review. Have the finance committee and other appropriate staff and board committees review a budget draft and key assumptions. Step number 7. Final approval. Distribute information to the board prior to the board meeting. Step number 8. Implementation and management. Share with staff the communicate budget, program goals and plan for the upcoming year. Forecasting techniques. Long-term trends. When the short-term fluctuations have been smoothed out, this is how the graph of a time series appears to be moving over a long period of time. The rise or fall is due to factors that only change slowly, for example, increase or decrease in population. Cyclical variations. When a time series graph is seen over a number of years, it takes on a wave-like aspect. Typically, it results from the impact of industry booms and slumps. Seasonal variation. There is a predictable increase and decrease over certain time intervals. The interval of time can be any length, such as hours, day, week, and the variations are of a periodic type with definite period. And lastly, residual or random variations. This is viewed as occurring absolutely randomly as a result of unknown factors such as strikes. Incremental budget. Initially, this method of budget preparation has been employed, and whereby present operation and budget are used as a logical beginning point for developing the budget for the upcoming period.
Going to the next budgeting techniques, which is zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting basically means all expenses are justified for a new period or year starting from zero, or in other words, built from scratch. It is a highly effective business planning tool and one of tactical implementation of a company's strategic plan. The difference of ZBB are it helps eliminate inefficient and obsolete operation. It also promotes active participation of employees in budget setting and the resources are allocated more efficiently. However, the disadvantages of the budgeting techniques are the whole process takes considerable time, resources, and effort. It means that the result of the system is not immediate. Also, the employees may overlook on some key expenses such as research and development or long-term strategic projects. Next on the budgeting techniques is rolling budget. This technique, which also known as continuous budget, is a continually updated budget. The business will forecast and update the budget for every month or every quarters. It helps you prepare for the future by examining the past. It is built with a short-term contextual focus, enabling you to strategize and adjust as the fiscal year develops. The advantages of rolling budget is this budgeting technique is constantly attended and revised. Then, this technique offers more flexibility in the planning and decision-making process as the data is constantly updated and in trend. The disadvantages of rolling budget are it may not yield a budget that is more achievable. The danger of inaccuracy in forecasts also may happen. Plus, as it was frequently updated, it requires skilled personnel and attention.
Lastly, activity-based budget. It is a budget overhead related and it is a base activity budget. The process of activity budget starts with determining the budgeted output that will enable the identification of budgeted activities. From the budgeted activities, the amount of resources needed will be determined. There are a few steps in preparing activity-based budget. First, we must estimate the production and sales volume. Second, determine the activities needed. Third, identifying the required resources given the activities. Fourth, we must estimate the amount of resources needed. And fifth, adjusting the capacity of resources to meet its production.
Feedforward is a term describing a kind of system which reacts to changes in its environment, usually to maintain some desired state of system. A system which exhibits feedforward behavior responds to a measured disturbance in a predefined way. Feedforward is a kind of technique where you do something first and then you ask the other person, he or she, whether what you do is right, and he or she say no and yes, and then you figure it out.
The benefit of feedforward control is it responds to disturbance before they can affect the system. Many prerequisites are needed to implement a feedforward control scheme. First, the disturbance must be measurable. Second, the effect of the disturbance to the output of the system must be known. And third, the time it takes for the disturbance to affect the output must be longer than the time it takes the feedforward controller to affect the output. If these conditions are met, feedforward can be turned to be extremely effective.
Second type of control is feedback control. It deals with any deviation from desired system behavior but requires the system measured variable to react to the disturbance in order to notice the deviation. The benefit of feedback control is controlling unknown disturbance and not having to know exactly how a system will respond to disturbance.
Next is motivational, behavioral, and ethical issues of budgeting. A budget affects almost everyone in an organization, from those preparing it to the people evaluated through budget. As such, it has a great behavioral implication which, if not addressed to properly, may affect the effectiveness of budgetary control system. Budgets are also usually used to evaluate the performance of a manager, and they assist in the directing of attention of top management to areas facing difficulties. It is important for budgets to be set such that managers at all levels are fully committed and motivated. A difficulty in setting the budget is the setting of levels of attainment to be achieved by various parts of the organization. Like, if the target is set too easy, it will neither provide any incentive nor encourage efficiency. In contrast, too difficult a target may affect the morale of employees, since any measure of performance would thus be unrealistic. Next, there are 5 limitations of budgeting. Firstly, budgets are commitments act as constraints. Secondly, budgets seen as mechanism for top-down control. Thirdly, restrict flexibility. Fourth, reinforces barriers between departments. And lastly, bureaucratic, time-consuming, and internally focused. Next one is beyond budgeting. It has been argued that budgeting process itself is limiting and unsuitable for business, especially in modern business environment. The idea is to abolish budgets altogether based on criticism of budgeting.
Thank you.